Hello, folks. This story was sent to me by a subscriber and is intended for educational purposes only. Thank you for watching. 800 micrograms LSD, the time-traveling teapot, and the disco of eternal confusion. It all began when I swallowed a tab of LSD dosed at around 800 micrograms. I was expecting the usual colorful patterns and mind-bending thoughts. But what I got was something that felt like an episode of a surreal sci-fi sitcom, mashed with a disco fever dream. At first, the room started to breathe in sync with my heartbeat. The walls shimmered and warped as if they were made of liquid glass, and the furniture decided to take a break from its usual rigidity, wiggling slightly like playful jelly. I sat down on my couch, which suddenly morphed into an ornate Victorian armchair covered in velvet, so soft it seemed to whisper secrets to my skin. That's when I noticed the teapot sitting on the coffee table. It was no ordinary teapot. Its porcelain surface rippled with iridescent colors, and the handle curved into what looked suspiciously like a tiny clock hand. I blinked, and the teapot gave a tiny little cough. A puff of steam escaped, forming a miniature time portal right above its spout. Before I could react, a tiny figure stepped out. It was a dancing teapot sprite wearing disco pants and an afro wig that sparkled with stars. "Welcome to the disco of eternal confusion," it announced in a voice that sounded like a mix of a game show host and a funky DJ. "Where time, space, and good vibes collide." Suddenly, the room exploded into a kaleidoscope of neon lights and pulsating beats. The furniture began spinning slowly like disco balls, and the teapot sprite started to spin as well, shaking maracas that produced sounds not just audible, but felt in the bones. I felt myself levitating slightly, carried by the rhythm of a cosmic funk band that seemed to be playing from everywhere and nowhere. As I floated, I realized the time portal above the teapot was expanding, showing snippets of scenes from different eras. Dinosaurs grooving in bell-bottoms, Victorian gentlemen breakdancing, even cavemen spinning vinyl on stone turntables. It was like history had decided to throw the wildest party imaginable, and I was the uninvited guest who somehow ended up on the VIP list. In the middle of this psychedelic disco inferno, a swirling vortex opened beside me, and out stepped a charismatic figure in a glittery suit made of tiny mirrors. "I'm Chrono Funk, your guide through the grooviest timeline in existence," he said, striking a pose that would put any 70s icon to shame. "Care to boogie through epochs?" I nodded, caught up in the absurdity. Instantly, we were transported to a psychedelic jungle where prehistoric plants sang harmonies and the dinosaurs moonwalked under fluorescent trees. A T-Rex with platform shoes invited me for a dance-off. But before the contest could begin, the scene flipped like a record. Next, we found ourselves at a Victorian tea party where the guests were all robots sipping neon tea that changed flavor with every sip. The host, a steam-powered automaton with a monocle, insisted I try the time-bending Earl Grey, which tasted like memories I never had but felt strangely familiar. The teapot sprite reappeared, juggling sugar cubes that turned into miniature galaxies as they floated through the air. Then, without warning, the floor dissolved into a swirling river of lava lamp liquid, and I was surfing on a giant slice of psychedelic pizza, while the soundtrack switched to a funky remix of Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. The pizza slice emitted pulses of energy that altered reality around me. Colors morphed, sounds twisted, and the very laws of physics felt like suggestions rather than rules. Suddenly, Chronofunk whispered, "Beware the disco of eternal confusion. It messes with your sense of self and time. But don't fret, the groove always brings you back. Easier said than done." The music started glitching, notes bending like they were underwater, and the walls dissolved into a spiral of question marks and exclamation points that chased me in a dizzying chase sequence. I tried to grab hold of something stable, but every object turned into a mirror, reflecting a different version of me. Some laughing hysterically, others crying softly, a few wearing glitter masks. I felt like a pinball, bouncing through layers of my own consciousness, each bounce twisting me further into the disco fever dream. Just as I thought I might be lost forever in this kaleidoscopic maze, the Teapot sprite reappeared, handing me a glowing disco ball. "Hold on to this, and let the rhythm guide you home." Gripping the ball, I closed my eyes and let the beat wash over me like waves, syncing my breath with the cosmic bass. Slowly, the chaos unraveled. The mirrors faded, the question marks dissolved, and the music settled into a steady groove. The velvet armchair became just a couch again. The walls stopped their liquid dance, and the teapot returned to a simple ceramic object sitting quietly on the table. I opened my eyes, heart pounding, mind buzzing with a cocktail of awe and disbelief. Was it all just a trip? Or did I really dance through time and space with a disco-loving teapot and a funkadelic guide? Either way, the world seemed a little brighter, a little stranger, and infinitely more groovy than before. And the teapot, it still sits on my coffee table, ordinary to the eye, but every now and then I swear it gives a little wink, inviting me back to the disco of eternal confusion.